Welcome back to EtherLink AI Insights. I'm Alex, and today we're diving into something that's reshaping how enterprises actually use AI in 2026. We're talking about AI workflows over agents, enterprise transformation in Eindhoven. Sam, this feels like a pushback against all the autonomous agent hype we've been hearing, right?
Absolutely. And what's fascinating is that the data backs it up. McKinsey's research shows that workflow-based AI systems outperform autonomous agents in 73% of real-world business applications. That's not a small margin. That's a fundamental shift in how enterprises should be thinking about AI implementation.
73% is pretty convincing. But I think a lot of listeners might be wondering, what's actually the difference between a workflow and an agent? They sound kind of similar on the surface.
Great question. The key distinction is collaboration versus autonomy. Autonomous agents are designed to make decisions and act independently, often without human intervention. AI workflows, on the other hand, are explicitly designed for human-machine collaboration. They're structured, auditable, and compliant, which matters enormously in regulated environments like the EU.
That compliance angle is huge, especially in Europe. Can you give us a concrete example of what this looks like in practice?
Sure. Imagine a manufacturing operation in Eindhoven using AI for quality control. An autonomous agent might flag a defect and immediately halt production without explanation. A workflow-based system, by contrast, surfaces the flagged defect to a human supervisor with full context: why the AI thinks there's an issue, confidence levels, historical patterns, and the supervisor makes the final call. You get the speed of AI with the accountability humans need.
And I imagine that also means higher accuracy, since the human is in the loop?
Exactly. The data shows workflow-based systems achieve 68% higher accuracy in business-critical processes. But it's not just accuracy. Stanford's research indicates that structured workflows deliver 54% faster time to value compared to pure autonomous agent strategies. Speed and reliability, not speed versus reliability.
Interesting. So we're not sacrificing anything. We're actually gaining on both fronts. Now, the blog mentions something called context engineering as a new competitive advantage. What is that, and why does it matter?
Context engineering is where a lot of organizations are going to differentiate in 2026. As AI models become commoditized, honestly, most large language models are fairly similar now. The real advantage is how you prepare the information landscape for those models. It's not just about writing a good prompt anymore.
Walk me through what context engineering actually involves.
It breaks down into several components. First, semantic framing, how you structure your organizational knowledge so the AI system understands it correctly. Second, memory management, creating persistent context windows that preserve institutional knowledge over time. Third, intent specification, making absolutely clear what business objectives the AI should optimize for. Then, constraint definition, which includes EU AI Act compliance and risk parameters baked directly into the workflow logic.
So you're essentially programming the AI with your entire business DNA, not just isolated tasks.
Precisely. And finally, you're building feedback loops so the system continuously improves based on real-world performance. When you layer all that together, your AI marketing automation, chatbots, and internal knowledge systems all perform substantially better because they're operating with full organizational context.
Let's talk about that marketing automation angle, because I think that's where a lot of companies are actually deploying AI right now. What's changing in that space?
The chatbot era of generic rules-based responses is basically over. Modern AI workflows in marketing enable hyper-personalized customer experiences at scale without the unpredictability you get from autonomous agents. You're combining AI recommendations with human-defined business logic, so you get personalization that actually aligns with your brand and strategy.
And the results speak for themselves, I'm guessing?
They really do. B2B enterprises in Eindhoven using workflow-based AI marketing automation are reporting a 42% improvement in lead qualification accuracy, 38% reduction in customer acquisition costs, and 51% increase in conversion rates through personalized recommendations. Those aren't incremental gains, those are transformative numbers.
Those are huge. Now, implementing all of this, context engineering, workflows, compliance, that sounds complex. How should an enterprise leader actually approach this?
That's where transformative experiences matter. You can't just read about this stuff, you need to see it in action, work through real scenarios, and understand how context engineering changes outcomes. The complexity isn't in the technology. It's in building the organizational capability to think about AI as a collaborative system rather than a replacement technology.
So it's a mindset shift, not just a technology shift.
Completely. Your marketing team, operations team, compliance team, they all need to understand how to define context, set constraints, and maintain human oversight in a way that actually increases efficiency rather than slowing things down. That's where organizations succeed or fail with AI.
What about the EU AI Act compliance angle? That seems like something that could trip up a lot of companies.
It absolutely could, but workflow-based systems actually make compliance easier because accountability is built in. With autonomous agents, you're often asking, why did this system make that decision? And struggling to answer. With workflows, audit trails are inherent. You know exactly what data went in, what constraints were applied, and where human judgment intervened.
So compliance isn't a separate burden. It's integrated into how the system actually works.
Right. And for organizations in the EU, that's not just legally sound, it's actually a competitive advantage. You're building systems that regulators will trust, and that trust translates to faster deployment and fewer restrictions down the line.
Looking forward to 2026, what's the biggest lesson here for enterprise leaders who are still deciding whether to go all in on AI?
Stop thinking about AI as a way to eliminate human jobs or decision-making. Think about it as a way to amplify human capability. Workflow-based systems give you speed, accuracy, and compliance, but only because they're designed for collaboration, not replacement. That's the mindset that wins.
And context engineering is the skill that separates leaders from laggards.
Absolutely. If you're not thinking about how to frame your organizational knowledge for AI systems, you're leaving enormous value on the table. This isn't theoretical. It's how the most successful enterprises in Eindhoven and across Europe are competing right now.
Sam, thanks for breaking this down. For our listeners who want to dig deeper into AI workflows, context engineering, and the specific strategies for enterprise transformation, head over to etherlink.ai and check out the full article. It's packed with even more detail and real-world examples. Until next time, this is EtherLink AI Insights.
Thanks, Alex. And remember, in 2026, it's not about the fanciest AI, it's about the smartest workflow design and the deepest organizational context.